So you just pulled the Electro Archon, but your Raiden is dealing puny damage every time? You've seen her dish out insane damage everywhere else, but can't figure out what's going wrong? Well, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll know everything about building Raiden to unleash her full potential. From artifacts to weapons, and the best team comp, we've got it all covered. Ready to make her the queen of your lineup? Stick around, because you don't want to miss this. Raiden Shogun is the ultimate burst DPS and energy support character. Her playstyle revolves around her elemental skill and elemental burst. Raiden's skill, Transcendence, Baleful Omen, provides consistent electro application while boosting the elemental burst damage of other characters. At level 8, it has 0.29% per energy cost scaling, so if you use Xiangling Burst, which costs 80 energy, the damage will be boosted by 23%. Her elemental burst, Secret Art, Musou Shinsetsu, is where Raiden truly shines. She switches into her Musou Ishin state, dealing massive AoE electro damage, and converting energy recharge into electro DMG. In this state, Raiden restores energy for the entire team with every hit she lands, making her a true battery for any burst-reliant comp. And did I mention she gains super armor during her burst? That means you can go all in without worrying about interruptions. When it comes to talent priority, focus on leveling up Raiden's elemental burst first. This is where the majority of her damage comes from, and it scales with both attack and energy recharge. Max it out as soon as possible. Next, level up her elemental skill, which is important for electro application, and the buff it provides to your team's energy regeneration. Finally, her normal attacks should be your last priority, or just ignore them altogether. But don't ignore the like button this time. Let's talk artifacts. Raiden's signature artifact set is the Emblem of Severed Fate, 4-piece, and honestly, no other set competes when it comes to maximizing her potential. This set boosts energy recharge by 20% and increases burst DMG by 25% of her energy recharge. With Raiden, you'll want at least 250 to 300% energy recharge, making this set the perfect choice. But if you don't have the Emblem of Severed Fate farmed yet, here are some solid alternatives. Gilded Dreams, best set for Hyperbloom Raiden, providing tons of elemental mastery. Noblesse Oblige, 4-piece, increases burst DMG by 20% and buffs your team's attack. 2-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, plus 2-piece Thundering Fury, a great balanced build for energy recharge and electro DMG. Thunder Soother, 4-piece, works well if you want to focus on electro DMG, especially in electro heavy teams. For artifact main stats, go for energy recharge on the Sands, electro DMG bonus on the Goblet, and crit rate or crit DMG on the Circlet, depending on your current crit ratio. Substats should focus on energy recharge, crit rate /DMG, and attack %. What's your current crit ratio for Raiden? Comment down below. Next up, weapons. Raiden's best in-slot weapon is her signature polearm, the Engulfing Lightning. This 5-star polearm boosts energy recharge and increases ATK based on her energy recharge, making it the perfect match for her kit. But if you don't have Engulfing Lightning, don't worry. Here are some great alternatives. The Catch, 4-star, the best free-to-play option. It boosts both energy recharge and burst DMG, but to make the most out of it, you'll have to go fishing for a while. Dragon's Bane, the best free-to-play option for Hyperbloom Raiden, providing 221 EM at level 90. Favonius Lance, a great option if you want to focus on generating particles for your team. Skyward Spine, another 5-star option that provides energy recharge and a small crit rate boost. Wavebreaker's Fin, increases burst DMG based on the total energy cost of your team's bursts. Pro tip: subscribing to this channel guarantees you'll build your next characters the right way from the start. So just do it now! Let's move on to constellations. Raiden Shogun is already incredible at C0, but if you're considering pulling for constellations, here's what you should know. C1 reduces elemental burst cooldown by 1 second and restores energy, making her burst ready even faster. C2. This is a game changer. It ignores 60% of the enemy's D during Raiden's burst, massively boosting her damage. C3 and C5 provide additional levels to her burst and skill. C4 increases your team's burst DMG by 30% for 10 seconds after Raiden's burst, making her even better as a team buffer. C6. It's not groundbreaking like other characters, but it decreases other party members' burst cooldowns. If you're aiming for constellations, C2 is the sweet spot for a massive damage boost. Now for the part most people ignore. Raiden's damage depends heavily on her team. Here are her most important teams. Hyper Bloom, Raiden team. This team takes advantage of Dendro and Hydro reactions, with Raiden acting as the Electro trigger for Hyper Bloom. This team is ideal if you want to focus on elemental reactions rather than raw damage. It includes Raiden, Nahida or Traveler for Dendro application, Yelan or Kokomi for Hydro, and Kazuha for grouping and damage buffs. But for make this team dish out a ton of damage, you should aim for at least 800 EM, with 4-piece Gilded Dream set on Raiden. Start with Raiden's Elemental skill, then switch and use Nahida's Elemental skill or Traveler's skill to apply Dendro to enemies. Use Yelan's Elemental Burst or Kokomi's skill to apply Hydro, and set up Bloom reactions. This team excels in reaction-based damage. With Hyper Bloom triggering from Raiden's Electro, you'll see constant explosions that wipe out enemy waves quickly. Next, we have the Hyper Carry Raiden team, where Raiden is the main damage dealer. This team consists of Raiden, Bennett, Kujou Sara, and Kazuha. The goal here is to maximize Raiden's Electro damage with buffs from Bennett and Sara, while Kazuha provides crowd control and Electro resistance shred. Use Bennett's Elemental Burst to boost ATK and heal. Switch to Kazuha and use his Elemental skill to group enemies and swirl Electro for resistance shred. Use Kujou Sara's Elemental skill and Burst to further boost Raiden's Electro DMG. Finally, switch to Raiden, activate her Elemental skill to set up Electro application, then unleash her Elemental Burst for devastating AoE Electro DMG. This team focuses on stacking as many ATK buffs and Electro buffs as possible on Raiden. The result is Raiden's Elemental Burst hitting like a truck, with all the buffs from Bennett, Sara, and Kazuha, enhancing her damage even further. But having C6 Sara in this team makes a huge difference in Raiden's damage. This is one of the most popular Raiden teams, often referred to as the Raiden National Team. It includes Raiden, Bennett, Xiangling, and Xingqiu. The strength of this team lies in its ability to spam bursts and deal massive vaporize and overload damage. Plus, Raiden's energy regeneration ensures that your entire team always has their bursts ready. Start with Bennett's Elemental Burst to set up the ATK buff and healing zone. Use Xiangling's Elemental Burst to apply Pyro and set up Vaporize and Overload reactions. Cast Xingqiu's Elemental Burst for Hydro application and additional Vaporize setups. Switch to Raiden, activate her Elemental skill for Electro application, then unleash her Elemental Burst to deal massive Electro AoE damage, and trigger Overload and Vaporize reactions while regenerating energy for the entire team. This rotation is perfect for constantly cycling through your team's bursts. Raiden ensures that Bennett, Xiangling, and Xingqiu have their bursts ready every rotation, leading to continuous high damage output. In a mono-Electro team, Raiden takes the lead as the main Electro DPS, while Fischl and Kujou Sara provide additional Electro application and damage boosts. Jean or Bennett serves as the healer and support. This team is great if you want to focus solely on Electro damage without relying on reactions. Start with Jean's Elemental skill or Bennett's Burst. For healing and ATK buffs, use Kujou Sara's Elemental skill and Burst to boost Raiden's Electro damage. Summon Fischl's Oz with her skill to provide continuous Electro application. Switch to Raiden, activate her Elemental skill, and unleash her Elemental Burst to dish out massive Electro AoE damage while benefiting from all the buffs and Electro application from Fischl and Sara. This team is all about stacking electro damage and maximizing Raiden's burst, while having consistent electro application from Fischl and Sara. It's simple but extremely effective for consistent damage. You can swap to Kazuha for even more damage, while trading off the healing. Special tip: always start your rotation by using Raiden's elemental skill for maximum efficiency. Raiden is still one of the best Electro Burst DPS characters in the game, filling multiple roles in your team. If your Raiden still isn't dealing the damage you want, you might want to check out your Kazuha build. Here's the video you're looking for. See ya!